What's up, everybody? This is Deaf to False Music, bringing you honest music reviews from the hills of eastern Kentucky. And as you can obviously tell by my appearance and where I am with the webcam, um, things have changed since the last review. I'm not doing the review in my bedroom. The computer I actually had kind of messed up on me, so I think reviews are going to be less frequent. But hopefully, you all are going to enjoy what I do. So let's get started. About last Thursday, I think. Last Thursday, I went to go see The Sword in the V Club in Huntington, West Virginia, and it kicked ass. It really did. It really was a cool show. This was the first concert I went to alone. Um, and I've been to about 33 shows or so, and I usually go with either a crew or, with one other friend. And this time, I couldn't get anybody to go with me because they were either broke or it was like the middle of the day, and it was just kind of an on a whim thing. And I had a friend of mine let me borrow her car, so I was just like, screw it, I'll just go alone and see what happens. So it was a real windy and cold night to get there, but I managed to get there just fine. Huntington is confusing. There's a West 6th Street and a 6th Street, so that was confusing. I ended up going on West 6th Street for a little while and wound up in the deepest ghetto of Huntington. So that was a little rough. But I eventually found the place. It's right on the corner of 6th Street. Really dinky little bar. Really kind of has a cool little environment to it. It's pretty much, just a great rock and roll bar. I mean, there's really no two ways about it. This place was meant for just very intimate, very up close shows. I mean, very low, it seems like the kind of place where a band can really establish themselves, and before they get too big or too famous. Um, Really cool. Clutches played there, I believe. High on Fire played there. Um, a few months ago, Jonathan Tyler and the Northern Lights played there. And next month, Jason Isbell and the 400 unit is going to play there, and I'm probably going to go to that. So maybe, maybe not. I'll have a review of that. So, and as you can obviously tell, I have a haircut. Anyway, um, so yeah, really cool, casual place. I got there around 7:44. The doors had just opened, and it was like really cheap, $15. Beer is really cheap too. It was like $2.50 for a bottle of Miller Lite. Really cool. First band was a band called Mount Carmel. They're from Columbus, Ohio. Three-piece blues rock stuff. Really kick-ass. Um, Kind of has that 10 years after Cream, Power Trio, Jimi Hendrix Experience without all the craziness kind of vibe to it. So that was cool. Got to meet the drummer, and he said this was probably the smallest place they played at. And I really liked their set, and I actually picked up their CD, so that's my support for live music right there. Second band was called Karma to Burn, and these guys just recently got back together. They're from Morgantown, West Virginia. Um, they recently reunited, and it's kind of instrumental stoner rock kind of stuff. It's almost like progressive stoner rock, if that's even possible. Um, it was fun for a while, but after about 20 minutes of the same kind of riffs being played without vocals, I kind of got bored. Um, you couldn't really hear the vocals, and they were fucking loud. They were extremely fucking loud. Louder than the Sword, believe it or not. And I had to go to the bathroom and put some tissue paper in my ears in order to have some ears left. My ears are still ringing from the show. It's only been like 5 days, but it was a pretty loud show. Anyway, half an hour wait. Um, Band's getting ready. The sound guy goes up to the microphone and says, "How many of you all smoked weed?" Two people raised their hand, including me. Sorry, kids. I know I'm not a positive role model. Um, and he said, "Well, you got half an hour before the story comes out. You might want to get out, smoke some weed, and then come back to the show." So that was funny. Anyway, the Sword comes out, big applause, and they rocked the place for an hour and a half. Um, They did most of the new album, Warped Riders. I think about 8 or 9 songs off that album. A lot of old classics. A lot of songs I did not expect the band to play, like Burial's Blade, um, The Horned Goddess, and Iron Swan, which totally blew my mind. And a lot of good songs from Gods of the Earth too, like the Black River and How Heavy the Sax. Just a really kick-ass show. But for all the like true metal heads out there, you might be a little disappointed by this tour, as there really isn't any moshing at the show. One guy started to mosh. It was this kind of pillhead-looking dude who had like a Godsmack shirt on or some shit. He started getting really violent with everybody and started trying to punch everybody. And this big bald bouncer basically chokeholded him and took him out of the venue. So that was pretty funny. Um, yeah, it was just a really kick-ass show. The lead guitarist, I forget his name, very energetic guy, has a lot of chops. And the bassist, he's a really skinny dude, but he has this intimidating thing, like, don't fuck with me or I'll kick your ass. And the bassist actually has this weird kind of synth pedal thing. It's where you can stomp on like a keyboard that you can put underneath your foot that gives like kind of a warbly bass tone, along with playing bass. So that was cool. Kind of gave it a Rush vibe in a way. Singer wasn't really as approaching to the audience as most singers are, but that was okay. You know, for that kind of band, you don't need to be all flashy. Um, their new drummer is kick-ass. Their new drummer really kicks ass. I forget his name. The only member I know off the top of my head is J.D. Krennis. I forget the drummer's name, but he was this bald, he was almost bald-looking dude playing drums, and he was a badass. It was just a really good rock show. Yeah, I mean, there's some heavy moments and there's some thrashy moments, but overall, the Sword is just a really good kick-ass rock and roll band with a lot of a penchant for creating some really Sabbathy riffs and bringing back the kind of mid '70s Black Sabbath vibe. So, I really recommend going to see this band. So, I'm gonna give this one a 7.5 out of 10. The only reason I don't rate it any higher is because Karma to Burn was kind of boring, and they were way too fucking loud, and my ears are kind of hurting. So, um, you know, aural damage equals a few points down. You know, they could have used a better mix, but overall, real good show. Anyway, this is Death to False Music, and hopefully I'll have another review coming pretty soon. So stay tuned. Later.